Good afternoon. 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 Hello, 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 and welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. I hope that you've been having a great and wonderful day. It is Get Free Friday, and today we are focused in on finance. Sometimes we focus in on health, sometimes we focus in on finance, sometimes we focus in on both. And we're back in the book that we started reading a while ago called Moving Beyond Broke. We are going to carry this book into our next season. As many of you know, we are wrapping up season 17 on next week. Also, it'll be the end of our Black History Month spotlights. And so all of next week, we'll be doing Black History Month spotlights of people that we think that you should know, and we will be ending season 17 also next week, and then we'll be taking a station break. So it'll give those of you who are just catching up with us, it'll give you all time to catch up on season 17, look at some of our other playlists here on the channel, and then we will be back. Hopefully we'll be back in April on our regular schedule, but we are taking the month of March off. Now, I will come and probably earlier in the day or early in the morning just share some clips of important women and things like that for Women's History Month, but it will not be a part of season 17. It will just be honoring women during Women's History Month. So those videos will probably be in the 10 o'clock hour, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I won't do them every single day, but I will try to come on and do one at least once a week in March. All right. So those are a little bit of heads up. Season 17 ends next week. March, we are taking a break, but I will come back once a week and do a spotlight for Women's History Month. And then we will be back in a new season, season 18. We will be back in April. All right. But this book, the books that we're reading in season 17, will carry over to season 18 until we are done reading those books, and then we'll start a new set of books. All right. All right. So today's topic is speed dating banks to find your financial soulmate. We're looking at the chapter entitled Banking on Yourself, and she's been talking about the different kinds of accounts. Now, as we know and see some things shifting in financial markets, um, really, I feel like really sort of pushing people to need a bank account, at least one bank account, if you are a person that's like averse to banking and all of that. We are unfortunately in a society now that is pushing for you to have at least one account. Um, and I would say, you want to, as she's talking about here, you want to sort of look at your banks, look at what they're offering you now. So many banks are changing policies. They may give you a notice and say, hey, we've changed this. And, here's our privacy notice. Click the link here. But they don't always break things down to you. And so even if you've had a banking relationship for years or for decades, it's always good to go in and talk to a banking officer and see, hey, what has changed in banking? And Is there a plan that you're offering that's actually better and offering me more services than the plan that I've been under? I know sometimes people don't want to rock the boat when it comes to their banking accounts because, if you're considering home mortgages or you're considering car loans and stuff like that, they do look at the longevity of your account. But if you're not doing that right now, it's always good to sort of get a checkup on your accounts, see how your accounts are doing. And so she's going to talk a little bit about that today. This is going to be a short broadcast today, so we're not going to do a lot of reading, but I think it is important. I think this topic is important concerning banking and where we are going. I will tell you right now, I have, let's see, how many banks do we have accounts at? I'm going to just count them in my mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We use 5 different banks for accounts because our accounts do different things. Um, and we use 2 credit unions and 3 different banks. We don't use any of the banks that have been in the news for really bad stuff against Black people. Now, I'm not going to name those banks. You can go look it up. But there are certain banks that have a history of doing discriminatory things, disadvantageous things when it comes to Black people and their accounts. And those are the banks that we don't use. So because nobody is paying me to advertise any of their banks, I won't be naming the banks that we use. But I will say we believe in using more than one bank, depending on what your needs are. So as she talks about this, I want you to be thinking about that as well. What do I need out of the banks that I use for my finances? She says, now that you have an idea of what type of accounts you might need, such as checking, savings, money market, let's figure out what type of financial institution is the right match for you. Remember, you can change banks at any time, so there's no pressure to make the perfect decision. Even if you already have a bank, this exercise may help you realize that your current bank or accounts are not actually aligned to your financial goals. Maybe you've never taken the time to think about the expectations you have of your bank or weren't aware you could even have expectations in the first place. So let's look at starting a banking relationship like any other relationship. Both parties are auditioning for each other to see if it's a match. Both sides get to have needs and expectations. You have to watch out for red flags and be clear on your deal breakers. Sometimes you'll be compatible and sometimes you won't. Maybe the first bank you try out will not be your type at all. That's okay. Move on. It's crucial to set clear expectations up front so that you can be sure that your banking experience meets your needs, reducing the risk of any unwanted surprises down the line. Let's walk through some of the qualities to consider when picking your perfect match. First of all, style. Some of your needs and expectations from a bank may be tied to the way you like to do business. Do you prefer walking into a local branch to work with someone face to face? Or are you the online banking from the couch in your stretchy pants type of person? Maybe you're both. And you can have it both ways with major banks that have large physical presence paired with a strong online tool. It's totally normal to try on different banks like outfits to see what feels comfortable and matches your style and personality. Don't let anybody rush you. Take your time to research and experiment. Most traditional banks do have brick and mortar locations so you can visit and sit down with tellers, loan officers, personal bankers, and branch managers to discuss what you're looking for in your perfect fit. Most institutions also offer online banking services 24/7, allowing you to check balances, manage your budget, pay bills, transfer money between accounts, and deposit checks by taking a picture with your phone camera. These features are usually accessible through the bank's website and on their mobile app. You can bank from home, on the go, and on any device with an internet connection. There are plenty of online-only bank options, but most will be hybrid, offering physical locations paired with online banking services. Now, here are some online banking features. I use online banking features for financial management and planning. Some of the most common and useful tools include account management. This shows you your account balances in real time, allows you to review your transaction history, including deposits, withdrawals, and purchases. I can make transfers between accounts and access monthly digital statements. Electronic bill pay allows me to set up and manage my recurring bills such as utilities, rent, and credit card payments. Automatic bill pay keeps track of due dates, which prevents late fees and saves time every month after the initial setup. Now, I do not do electronic bill pay. I do not do automated bill pay. I like to do it myself, but this is an option if you want to do it through your banking. Mobile banking apps enable mobile deposits of checks using smartphone cameras, contactless payments with mobile wallets, and alerts in case of suspicious account activity, low balances, or missed payments. Now, one thing that we have set on our accounts is low balances. So we get a notice if our balance goes under a certain amount so that we can renew or refresh or move money the way we need to. I don't use the depositing checks by with a phone or a camera. But again, that's an option. If that's what you like to do, I like to go to the bank and deposit physical checks. That's me. Not everybody wants to do that. Budgeting tools help you with expense tracking, saving, and goal setting. Aside from tracking account balances, I gain a better understanding of my spending habits over time, set savings goals, and monitor my progress. These tools categorize expenses and display them in a pie graph, so I always have a quick visual. This makes it hard to ignore that I spend ridiculous amounts of money on anything. Now this is helpful in our one of our banks has this where they show you what your typical spending is, or they show you your spending compared to the previous month, and you can sort of gauge if you are spending too much money on certain things. If you're trying to be disciplined, or you're trying to cut down, or you're trying to watch yourself on purchasing certain things, this is certainly a helpful thing to have. Instead of having to track expenses manually and wasting a bunch of time working with incomplete or old data, my bank pulls accurate real time information and does the math for me. My bank has become my accountability partner with these tools, alerting me to red flags in my own spending behavior. Investment management enables online trading of stocks and bonds, viewing your investment portfolio and performance, and access to virtual financial advisors for basic investment information. Security. Whether you choose a traditional online or hybrid bank, pay close attention to their security measures protecting both your personal information and your money. In addition to ensuring your funds are protected by banking with an FDIC member institution, look for features such as encrypted online banking, multi factor authentication, and fraud monitoring systems. Different banks offer different layers of security. Consider a bank's history and track record. Have they been transparent with their customers when a security breach happens? Have they shown a commitment to improve security after a breach? With cybercrime and hackers growing more and more sophisticated, perfect security is becoming less and less realistic. However, the institution of your choice should be committed to improving and being on top of the newest security issues and exploits. And now, this last one is the one that seems to get a lot of people when it comes to banking: fees and charges. Now, recently, I got a notice from my bank on my business account that they were increasing my monthly maintenance fee. Now, I've been watching it. I've been just sort of careful to make sure that things are where they need to be with the monthly fee. But then I noticed they're not taking out the monthly fee. So now I've got to go in and then I've got to ask some more questions to say, hey, is this monthly fee only taken out if the balance is, not at the minimum balance every month? What is going on here? Because I got a notice saying you guys are going to take this out monthly, you're increasing it, but then I don't see any money moving out. So what is actually going on here? The writer says, I look for the best deal when I go grocery shopping. Evaluating bank fees and charges is no different. Buying the store brand option for a few bucks cheaper than the name than the brand name doesn't make much of a difference in a single trip to the store, but it does add up over months and years. It's the same with considering the fee structures of each bank, such as maintenance, overdraft, and ATM fees. Some banks offer fee waivers under certain circumstances or as perks for fulfilling particular requirements, such as keeping minimum account balances or just being a valued customer. They may waive fees for wire transfers or using cashier's checks. Getting clear on the fees associated with maintaining your bank account is crucial in your deciding factors. These are some of the main fees to look out for. Maintenance fees. When I first opened my bank account, I struggled with the monthly maintenance fee. While it was only $5 a month, I didn't immediately consider and track it as an expense, which led me to overdraw my account regularly. Some banks waive these fees if you maintain a minimum balance or set up direct deposits. Overdraft protection. Many banks offer overdraft protection as a safety net, which is why joint account gate didn't turn out as disastrous as it could have been for me. These programs link your checking account to a savings account or a line of credit. If you make a transaction that exceeds your account balance, the bank will automatically transfer funds to cover the overdraft. This can save you from hefty overdraft fees and declined transactions, but not the wrath of whoever you're connected to with an account. You can opt out of overdraft protection, resulting in the bank declining any transaction that exceeds your available balance. While this may seem restrictive or lead to embarrassment in a checkout line, it can be extremely helpful if you want to avoid temptations to overspend, but it comes with a fee. Not all banks use the term overdraft protection the same way, so you need to find out what they consider the default, covering or declining overdrafts, and how you can opt out if necessary. ATM fees. After relocating to a new city, I didn't want to change one of my primary banks, even though there was no branch office near me for miles. I'd often have to use ATMs unrelated to my bank, which charged me higher fees. It may sound insignificant, but those charges do add up. So I appreciate that my bank reimburses ATM fees. Look for banks that offer transparent fee policies or even fee free options to avoid unnecessary costs. And special perks. Banks often compete for customers just like every other business does, which often results in great perks for you to take advantage of, including rewards programs, discounts and partnerships, and financial education resources. Rewards programs. Some of them are tied to your debit or your credit card so you can earn points or cash back on your purchases. If you're interested in playing the points game to redeem them for products or travel, this might be a deciding factor for you if you are a person that travels all the time. Keep an eye out for banks that offer rewards aligned with your spending habits and preferences. Discounts and partnerships. Banks often partner with retailers and service providers to offer exclusive deals or discounts to customers, including travel, shopping, dining, and entertainment. Again, it matters most if the bank partners with brands that you're already using or have a genuine interest in trying out. No point in choosing a bank for their free Hulu subscription when you're a Netflix type of person. Financial education resources. Many banks now offer educational resources to improve financial literacy, covering everything from budgeting, saving, investing, credit management, and recovery. They may hold in-person workshops or offer online webinars, video tutorials, or articles. They may also share info on how to access specific financial services they provide. And your financial institution likely has an area of specialized focus and expertise, such as first-time home buyers, small business banking solutions, or assistance for customers facing financial hardship. If you want to buy your first house or are starting a business, choose a bank that can provide you expert support because that's what that bank specializes in. All right. The next time that we come back in this book, we will be talking about reputation, how to find out if you have banking chemistry, and should it matter to your bank if you are a woman. All right. I hope you enjoyed that and learning a little bit about making some choices in your banking life. If you don't have at least one banking account, I would encourage you to get one. Probably start with a credit union as opposed to a bank, and then shop around, look at your banks that are closest to you, your local banks. Actually go in for an appointment and see what it is that they offer. One bank that I am attached to is because of how they treat their business customers and particularly small business. So that's why I chose to bank with them. And I have been banking with them now for since 2010, so 16 years. So be thinking about that for those of you who are making the leap. All right, Pastor Ben, would you like to come on for today and chop it up? I'll um, I'll take your word for it down here in the comment section. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to add you on now. All right. And while we're getting ready for Pastor Ben to come on, I am going to share with you one person from our Black History Month book. All right. And John, jump on. The person I'm going to share today, his name is Thornton Dial. And this is what Thornton looks like. Thornton Dial. Thornton Dial lived from 1928 to 2016. And his quote says, "It seems like some people believe that just because I ain't got no education, they say I must be too ignorant for art." For his art, which he had been making long before he knew the materials he put together could be called art, Thornton Dial used objects he'd found. Generally, the pieces he liked to pick had once been of use to someone else. Old rope, fabric, metal scraps, wood, clothing, toys. He was entirely self taught. His sculptures and canvas were often several feet wide long, the texture like the rugged yet beautiful typography of a sky view. The beginning of life in the yellow jungle from 2003 is a 9 feet wide and 6 feet tall tapestry of bedding, wire, and plastic bottles. The piece evokes the journey of Black people in the American South, fixed to the land but maybe never beyond it. The rural Southern life for Black people has been one of struggle, the piece seems to say. Dio was born in Emil, Alabama, on a cotton plantation where his relatives worked as sharecroppers. He didn't attend much school as a child. He picked cotton and worked on the farm. In 1940, when he was 12, Dial moved to Bessemer, Alabama, and noted the art along the way in folks' front yards. He lived with relatives and did construction and factory work while making his pieces. He was illiterate. The artist Lonnie Holly introduced Dial's work to an Atlanta collector, William Arnett, and word began to spread. By the 1990s, Dial's work was beginning to be shown in museum exhibitions. He was in his 50s before he considered what he'd been doing art. The art establishment often described him as an outsider artist, meaning self taught, with minimal or no influence from art institutions. The term is often used for Black artists, the quilters of Gee's Bend, Alabama, for example. Of course, identifying Black artists as outsiders places them white artists squarely on the inside. But outsider status did not seem to bother Thornton Dial. Inherently in his work is a subversion, if not wholehearted rejection, of qualified acceptance. Dial exhibited at the 2000 biennial celebration of the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Smithsonian American Art in D.C., and many other locations. His son, Richard, is a sculptor whose art is placed at multiple museums. He lives in Bessemer now, making art as his father once did. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm a little sleepy. I'm gonna admit it. I'm a little sleepy. I'm
Okay.
not gonna go back to sleep though. I'm not gonna go back to sleep. I've been up since about 7:30, but
Okay.
I am a little sleepy.
Okay. I want to speak a little bit about the banking.
Okay.
I have two accounts,
Mhm.
and both of those are with one bank. But actually, I have been thinking about opening more accounts at different banks and even credit unions.
Mhm.
So you just gave me the go ahead.
Good.
But I also want to speak about policies
Mhm.
because we like to point at a certain person that basically said that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for black people,
Mhm.
which you and I know that no president could. Okay, we know that. But her policies that she wanted to implement would help black people more than any other people group.
Mhm.
And it was dealing with loans to start a business. They're going to give you money to start a business, and they're going to give first time home buyers money to get the to put towards the loan for the home.
Mhm. Mhm.
We struggle as a people, not because of us, but because of the system. We struggle in both of those areas.
Mhm.
See, for some reason, our people want to look at what are they doing specifically for us instead of who's going to more specifically for black,
Well,
and they
as we
can't.
have said before, when you understand once you understand how the system of white supremacy works, you will understand why they cannot openly do something specific for us. They
Hmm.
have to tie it to a benefit for everyone else in order for it to be done for us. And they cannot
Hmm.
name us specifically because in order to get in those seats of power, you have to uphold white supremacy. And I don't think anyone else has demonstrated that more clearly than the current regime. The current regime has put it out in such a very bold way to show that you have to uphold the system of pseudo supremacy in order for things to get passed. This has always been the case. He is just being open and upfront with we're only doing this to benefit us. But it has always
Hmm.
been that. It has always been that. He is just saying, because I know that the system has always been this, I'm going to take advantage of the system and do it out in the open so everybody sees what it is. And so
Hmm.
that's what I look at. We knew when she said, "No, I'm not going to do anything specific for black people," she couldn't.
Exactly.
Neither could Obama.
Exactly. We knew that.
because because those are, in order to get into those seats of power, part of getting into those seats of power is to uphold pseudo supremacy, which says you cannot do anything specific and materially specific for black people.
Hmm.
That's a part of it. That's a part of being a part of the system. But what I can do is I can create policies that can help you along with everybody else. I can do that.
Hmm.
But to just single out and say we're going to just do this for black people, the system that we are in would not let them do that. It would assassinate them before it let them do
Hmm.
that. Hello, Abraham Lincoln. Hello, JFK.
Hmm.
The people who said I'm gonna do what I want to do and I'm gonna get this done, them the people that got murked. Okay, that's why they got murked, because they were trying to do something specifically that was going to specifically benefit black people.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted Colin Powell to run for president. Colin Powell said, I ain't running for president. He said, I'm not running for president because I know if I run, they will murk me. He said
Mm-hmm.
that out of his own mouth. So he knew what time of day it was. Even if he wanted to run, he knew if he ran, they was gonna murk him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we understand that, as black people, don't just look at the surface of a thing. Look at how is this going to affect black people. And the person who got in, who started doing things that would was benefiting black people the most we had been benefited was Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden was let in to do it, right? Because he had spent time working under Obama. That's why they gave him, that's why he was like, "Okay, we're going to let you lead because you spent time leading under Obama. So it was your time to be president." Which was why he was only supposed to be a one-term president.
Mm-hmm.
But then he tried to push it and say, "Let me try to get another term." And that's where the Democrats messed up, because they was not intending, they was not going to give him another term, because he only agreed to be a one-term president. So because he
Mm-hmm.
extended his time when he was supposed to be a one-term president, let an actual primary happen for the Democrats to choose their person, and then that person was supposed to be our next president. Because that didn't happen, people got ticked off. People start sabotaging Kamala because they felt like she didn't go through the process. That's what that was. And it was people in their own camp that was sabotaging her. It wasn't just what happened with the Republicans, it was people in their own camp sabotaging her. And I said, this is why we got the mess we got, because the people in their own camp was sabotaging Kamala. And I'm sure she talks about it in her book 107 Days. I'm sure it's mentioned in there. But they were sabotaging her because they were mad that they felt like she didn't go through the process. So we gonna fix her. And y'all fixed it right on. Y'all fixed it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Fixed it for
Real
us to have.
good.
You fixed it for us to have a mess, and you thought you was gonna
Mm-hmm.
fix it for us to have a mess that we could control. And then surprise, surprise, y'all can't control the mess that you started.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
then y'all got the nerve to say, "Where Kamala at?"
Y'all didn't want her.
That's why Kamala sitting back and she ain't doing nothing, because she know exactly what y'all did. She know.
Mm-hmm.
She know that y'all set her up and sabotage that campaign for her. She know.
Mm-hmm.
Black women be knowing.
Yes.
We know. And so now this stuff is going every which way and haywire, and y'all seeing how much this man is stealing from us. He's stealing in every possible way. I keep telling people he out ghetto in the ghetto. Now
Yeah.
he done created. Now he done created a whole board, and talking about he finna steal $10 billion from the taxpayers for this board.
Mm-hmm.
And this board is gonna supposedly take that money and put it into a real estate venture that his son is doing in his name over in Gaza. That's called theft. That's called embezzlement of taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
In your face, not behind closed doors. He doing it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And you still got dummies talking about, "Oh, this is gonna be a great thing." Well, are you are you that dumb?
Yeah. Yeah. They are.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody that hasn't figured this man out yet, yeah, they are.
Oh my goodness.
They are.
You know, I use the word dumb, but I'm like, come on, people. Come on. He's telling you, I'm taking taxpayer dollars, 10 billion of them, and I'm giving it to the Board of Peace. First of all, you can't do that without congressional approval. So if you do that, you should have been impeached five incidences ago. That's
Mm-hmm.
definitely impeachable. You can't steal taxpayer dollars and put it into for your discretionary use as president. What?
Nope.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, one bank that we use strictly primarily for like business. I use another one for, well, that's for my small business. I use another one for just personal, and then like my um, independent contract work I do, I use one for that. Um, I use the what do you call it? Not banks, credit union. I use a credit union for my like money market stuff. So CDs I have in a credit union. Um, I use the bank that I use to do my business with. I use them for like my IRA. So I don't have my IRAs in my money markets. I have them in two different banks.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like my stuff spread out over different banks.
Okay.
We use a different bank for our car loans and our mortgage. That's at a different bank than our business bank. So yeah, we use the bank that works best for the product that they offer and the interest rates that they offer, because everybody doesn't have the same interest rates. So like I get better rates on my CD and my money market account at the credit union than I would at a bank. Their rates are better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if I'm going to get more money over here, let's put them over here. My business bank is like a whole percent less that they offer for money back on money markets. So I was like, why would I be moving that money? What? No. So that's kind of how we break ours up. Based on,
And
like
and
they
I want
say,
to say
based on your needs.
and I want to say this: if you want, because you said something about the banks that are, I'm going to say, basically against black folk,
Mm-hmm.
some discriminatory practices.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually Google it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know, you can actually Google it. Banks with discriminatory practices.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll give you the list. And it'll tell you why. It'll tell you what they do wrong. It'll tell you how they come against certain groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to know,
It'll tell you
it's
their
out there.
history. It'll tell you their history with black people and
Right.
customers, and the fraud and the um, things that have happened with homeowners. Loss of money, foreclosing on people's houses, and all of that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
banks on those lists, we don't use those banks, and unfortunately, some of them continue to stay in the news. And unfortunately, some well known mega pastors have partnered with those same banks that have harmed black communities. And I'm like, yeah, it's a no for me. I wanted to show you all, as we close out today, I wanted to show you all some of the work of Thornton Dial. Let's see, because his pieces are pretty massive. So let's see. This is one of his pieces. And like I said, they said, he takes objects. It's basically called found objects, found art, where he takes objects and creates sculptures from it. see. This is another one. This one is called Souls Grown Deep. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. That was called Souls Grown Deep. And now his son has taken up sculpting now, which is pretty cool. All right. Final thoughts, Pastor Ben.
Who? Um. Uh. We need to be secure in our finances, and we've gotten a lot of information today on how to do that. We if we're spending 1.8 trillion dollars per year in this nation,
Mm-hmm.
if we put that into our community, put some away in different banks, I mean, we would be running America.
And here's the thing, I am definitely open to us doing a national fund or a national trust for Black America.
Hmm.
I would be willing to invest in a national trust, even if you could not do like maybe our 1%, our top 10% of wealth earners that are Black, if they contributed like monthly, right? And then maybe our next tier of wealthy people contributed quarterly, then our next tier of wealthy people contributed biannually, and then everyone else contributed maybe one time, to just build the fund to begin with, and then have a committee or have a agreed upon board that divides and splits funds out and hands out funds as needed to people who are below the poverty line. Why can't we do that? It's not rocket science. It's political red tape.
The, qu-
That's what it is. It's political
the
red
question is
tape
not
and
why can we?
ignorance.
Why can't we? The question is why don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The NBT, the National Black Trust. Other
Hmm.
communities have trusts where they distribute, the Native Americans. You're not getting money from the Native Americans if you're not Native American. You can't prove your blood quantum.
Hmm.
So why can't we do a national black trust? If people can get together and buy tickets for Beyonce concerts, you trying to tell me we can't do a national black trust? We can. The question is, do we want to? And I'm not talking about the United Negro College Fund. That's one thing. I'm talking about a national black trust,
Hmm.
not just for people going to college, for people in trades, for people who live below the poverty line, for mothers. Anybody would be able to apply and receive assistance. That's what I'm talking about. I think we can do it. And again, the question is, will we? Will we?
Hmm.
Or do we have too many people right now in the upper echelon that's always saying what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Because what's in it for you is the viability of the future of the people. That's what's in it for us. Because we have to help ourselves. If we don't, we'll be spinning the block again another 100 years, 200 years with America, and we'll still be spinning the block saying, "Can you please help us?" And we clearly see they're not going to. We would like for them to do the moral thing, the right thing, but the reality is they're not going to. So it is up
Hmm.
to us. All right, I've said my piece. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues. I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. Remember, we are in our last week. All of next week will be our last week of season 17. We'll do two bonus um, days. I think Thursday and Friday is beyond our episode 50, but we'll finish out Black History Month. I hope you have a great and wonderful last Sunday of this Black History Month, that you do something that celebrates and honors your own heritage as a Black person living in America. And just remember, light is the most daring opposition to evil. We know evil is lurking out here, but we know good is always greater. So be well, and most importantly,
Be light.
be light, everyone. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.